All right. It talks about the nature, which is Prakriti, the enjoyer, and consciousness. All right. Now, before we begin, it's prayers. Shirish, don't raise your hand for now. Later on, question answers, we will do other things. Prayers today, yesterday, Sri Ram had to take, right? So today, Sri Ram will take the prayers. Sri Ram, please. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Yes, lead us in prayers.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Dadamayam Dadati Swam Padantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Ruta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Shagrijatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you so much, Sriram. Thank you. All right. So moving ahead. Chapter 13. As I told you, it's titled Nature, Enjoyer, and the Consciousness. Okay, now moving into this chapter, but before that, you all remember, right? So Bhagavad Gita has few key topics that we cover, right? And Prakriti is one of them. And the enjoyer, which is, of course, Krishna, us, which is the soul. So we've covered that aspect. So today's topic, we're basically going to cover Prakriti because Arjun had many questions. So when after Krishna talks about Bhakti Yoga and all, Arjun still wants, he's inquisitive. He wants to know. So he had asked various questions. So the questions that were there are in front of you. Who are we? Are we the body or the soul? Who is the enjoyer? What is Prakriti and what is knowledge? What is real knowledge? Okay. So these are the various, these are the subject matters also that we've discussed, right? Bhagavad Gita essentially deals with these 5 subject matters. So today we're going to be covering this very important topic. But before that, I'm going to run through quickly what we did in the past. Who are we? Who are we? We're the soul. Now, there are 3 aspects to the body. There is a gross body, there's a subtle body, and there is the soul. Okay. Now, the gross body is made up of the 5 tattvas, as we say, pancha tattva. The subtle body, which we don't see, but we can feel it, is the mind, intelligence, and above all, the false ego, I, me, myself. And finally, what we truly are is the soul, which is Sat, Chit, and Anand. All right. So who are we? We are not this body. We are spirit souls. I'm just revising. Okay. It's a very important. That's why. The size, what is the size of the soul? Can we see it? No, we cannot see. It's very, very, very tiny. You take the tip of a hair, it's 1/10,000 that. So you can't see it, but you can feel it. Okay. What are the properties of the soul? We are done. Cannot burn, cannot dry, cannot be killed, cannot be cut. Nothing, 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 nothing. It is Sat, Chit, Anand. And what happens to the soul after death? It just moves from one body to the other. Like how we change our clothes. That's it. So the soul also just picks up a new body, and we have 84 lakh species. Today, we will see the details of those 84 lakh species. In what category, how many species come, okay? Fine, moving ahead. We have done this example also, right? That our 5 senses are like those 5 wild horses, which are controlled by the mind, which is like the reins. But the mind cannot do anything till the intelligence, which is the charioteer. The intelligence controls the mind. Mind will say, अरे खा लो 10 रसगुल्ला, अरे लेकिन इंटेलिजेंस बोलेगा पागल तेरा पेट दर्द होगा. माइंड बोलेगा सो जाओ, कल एग्जाम है तो क्या हुआ, नींद जरूरी है. इंटेलिजेंस बोलेगा यू विल फेल टुमारो, गेट अप एंड स्टडी. ऑलराइट, so intelligence controls the mind, and that's important. Otherwise those five senses will tell you run here, run there, run there. And only when that functions properly will the soul reach its destination. Then we also did this another example of this bird and the cage, right? Of how we are so attached to the externals that we forget the internals. Like this old woman who loved, she took so much time, effort, energy taking care of the cage, cleaning it, made it gold plated, this, that, but she forgot to feed the bird. Yeah, mar gayi bichari bird. So we don't have to die. We need food. And what is the food for our soul? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That is the food for the soul. Okay. Now, that was a basic revision. Okay. Now we come to the next part where we're going to be discussing what is consciousness. You know, you've heard this word everywhere, consciousness. What exactly is consciousness? In the chat boxes, quickly, what do you all think is consciousness? Whatever comes to your mind in terms of what is consciousness. Chetna, know what is happening, right? Mind is not consciousness. Okay. Chetna, Anvi also says Chetna. Dwani says staying alive. No. Most of y'all are saying Chetna. Knowing Krishna. No, that's okay. But what else? Association. Okay. Chetna. Okay, fine. So y'all are pretty much on the right track. Now to explain what consciousness is, I'll give you all a little example. All right. Now, you see, there is a knife. There's a knife in the hand of a robber, and there is a knife in the hand of a surgeon also, or a doctor. Right? Both of them have knives, but their consciousness is different. One is going to use the knife to heal, and the other is going to use the knife to kill or to steal or to whatever, right? That is the difference. So in fact, you know, we call, Prabhupada gave this name, International Society of Krishna Consciousness. All right. So that's the state of being. You know, what state are you in? That's why it's called International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Yes. So consciousness is essentially this. What is your state of being? Like, are you going to use it in the right way or the wrong way? For example, now there is a consciousness, you know, there's one person who thinks, should I steal money? You know, he has that sinful, that tendency. But another person actually steals it. So what happens? One has that tendency. So there could be, because he's thinking of the reaction, if I steal money, this will happen. But the other one is not, he's not having that consciousness. One's consciousness is, I'm going to steal money on so-and-so date, no matter what. And one's consciousness is, if I steal money, I'll be rich, but I could be caught, I could go to jail, I could be in court. And the other one, I don't care, I'm going to steal money. And then whatever reaction manifests is seen. Okay. Now, who is the enjoyer? We all know that ultimate enjoyer of everything is only Krishna, right? He is the supreme enjoyer, supreme controller. We've done this n number of times over the last couple of chapters. Okay. Now we're going to come to the third key aspect, which is what we're going to discuss in detail today, which is Prakriti or nature. Okay. What is this Prakriti that we discuss over here of things that are happening around us? What exactly is this Prakriti? That answer we will get in this chapter. Okay. Now moving ahead. I think I mentioned this earlier that the material creation is just 1/4 of the Lord's creation. It's mentioned in the Shastras that this material world, which is made up of countless and many universes, but that's just 1/4 of this entire creation. 3/4 is spiritual world. All right. Now, with the help of a little diagram, we'll try and understand that coming soon. So, where have we come from and where have we come to? Spiritual world to material world. Okay. Now, if you see this diagram, it's a little compressed. So, if you look at the top, right? Whatever you see over there is spiritual world, which is made up of many Vaikunthas. Okay, Vaikunthas basically where Lord Narayan, Lord Vishnu stay in some form or the other. Vishnu has many forms. So each form has a particular planet. And right above that is Golok Vrindavan. That's where Lord Krishna is. So that's basically the spiritual world, which is 3/4 of the creation. And in between, you see something known as Brahma Jyoti. Okay, that is what is dividing. So Brahma Jyoti is the effulgence of the Lord. And below that, where you see the Karna ocean, where Lord Vishnu sits in the form of Karnodashaya Vishnu, is from where that's like the casual ocean, which you have to cross and go that side. And below that is the material world. Okay, so what you see down in black is the material world, which is full of miseries. And Lord Krishna calls the material, calls this entire place Dukkhale Ashashvatam. He calls this place Dukkhale Ashashvatam. Now, Dukkhale means a place of misery, and Ashashvatam means temporary. So, this material world is temporary. That means it has a beginning and an end. Now, we will also go through that when it starts, when it ends. We already know there are 4 yugas, but that's not the beginning and end. The beginning and end is not even one day of Brahma. The beginning and end is not only one lifetime of Brahma. So it's a long thing. We'll try and understand that. So where have we come from? Spiritual world. Where are we now? Material world. And another word that Krishna has given for this material world is Dukkhale Ashashvatam. So we were in the Vaikuntha, we were in the spiritual world, free of misery, no tension, jo chahiye milega, no exams also, nothing, just relax, enjoy. But we came here to this material world, which is full of miseries. Yes. Now, why did the Lord create this world? Now, if it is Dukkhale, right, as the Lord says, it is full of miseries. Why did the Lord create? Any idea? Any guesses? Chalo, let me see in the chat boxes. Anyone's guessing? Why did the Lord create this material world? To test us, okay? Because we wanted to, okay? So that bad people can suffer, okay? Rasika says we wanted to come, acha. As a punishment for sinners. Soumya, good. Jagannath says because we had a desire to enjoy, because of our desires. Okay, all on the right track. You are very smart, very smart. Yes. So why the Lord created this is basically because we wanted to be separate from the Lord. Yes, we will understand that a little better. Now, when you're planning a city, right? You all know cities are planned, well planned. What are the things that go into a city? There are beautiful buildings, there are schools, there are hospitals, yes. Then there are technology centers, libraries, there are stadiums, there are all these huge fancy malls, there are beautiful gardens that go into a city, and then there are beautiful entertainment zones that are there, lovely highways that a city is there to connect one city to the other. There are train stations, there is an airport, right? And what is this? Ye bhi aata hai kya city mein? What is this? Any guess what is this? And why is this there in the city? Any guess what is this and why is this there? Jail for criminals, prison, jail. Yes, why is it there? It's a prison for bad people, Rasika is saying. For criminals, Bhargavi is saying. To capture thief, Mishika is saying. Okay. For criminals, okay. So yes, a jail is also made in a city. Yes. So what is the idea? What is the idea of having a jail? We will understand now. Okay. So it is essentially for rectification. Now, it's someone who goes into a jail, right? So suppose he's stolen something, so he'll be given punishment in jail. But sometimes it happens that because of good behavior, you are sent out fast. So remember that. So basically, you're sent in the jail for two reasons. Okay. Now let's understand the reasons why we get into the jail. Is essentially for pain and punishment. These are the two reasons. Now, the material world, this world that we are in, is compared to a prison house. Yes. And you all must be wondering, how is it compared to a prison house? Koi jail to hai nahi. I don't see anything. I can move around anywhere where I want. Yeah, what is the pain? What punishment? Any guesses? What pain, what punishment do we have here? Yeah? In the chat box, let me see. Any guesses? What are the pain and punishment that we experience in this material world? Dukh, birth, old age, disease. Oh my God, Rasika, amazing. Death, Pratyaksha, very good. Sanvi, death. Misery, Bhargavi, very nice. You guys are on the perfect track. Yes. So there is a lot of pain and punishment over here. Yes. So what is the pain that we experience? The pain of birth. I told you that day, remember? Birth is painful. Imagine the little child crumpled up, like this in the womb, in that water, hard to breathe. If the mother eats something tikha, the skin is not even developed, it burns. Yeah. And then, so the child, unfortunately, is in the same water. You have to do your excreta also over there, and you have to live in the same water, breathe in the same water. So it's very painful. Birth is very painful. That's why the child cries at birth. Then there is old age. It's a big problem. It's very painful. Of course, diseases, all of us fall ill, and we experienced some of the other, and then death, which is inevitable. So this pain is there in the material world, like it or not. And then there are other punishments also. Punishments like, if you get, for no fault of yours, suddenly a mosquito will come and bite you. Malaria ho gaya, punishment for you. Or if there's nothing like that, there could be a fire, there could be a volcanic eruption, there could be a tornado, there could be hails, any of these natural disasters, right? These are all punishments, means we have to bear them. We have to bear them. We just don't have a choice. And who's managing this jail? Like, every jail has a jailer, right or wrong? Every jail has a jailer. So even this particular material world has a jailer. And that is Durga Devi. You remember? We discussed all the demigods being, the head of departments. Yeah. So Varun Dev handles water, Indra Dev is handling rain, this one is handling, each one, Agni is handling fire. So Durga Devi is handling this material world. She's the jailer. She's here to decide what punishment to give to which person. Pura account, full account is there. So we have come from there here. But why did we come? Why did we come? What was our crime? What wrong did we do? Why did we leave that wonderful place where everything was on a red carpet? We had all the comforts, everything. Yeah. And we came from there. We've come over here. So I will tell you all an example. So then you will understand what was our mistake. So I'll tell you all, like y'all were kids, right? Or let's take an example of a little child. One day she goes to her mother and she tells, Mama, I'm going to, just give me everything. I'm going to do my own cooking set. She says, Mama says, but you're getting food and everything. No. So she goes, she gets this big Barbie or whatever, cooking set, and she has everything ready. And, and she sits and she's got her cup, saucer, she's got a baking oven, she's got everything, her, whatever to put in the oven. So everything is there. And she plays and plays and plays and plays for a couple of hours. And then she's hungry. And then she comes to her Mama, I'm hungry. Mama says, hello, I gave you everything. You wanted to cook food on your own, I gave you. You had the oven, you had all the utensils, you had all the ingredients, everything I gave you. But Mama, that is not real. I really want food. All right. So similarly, we were getting everything, but we wanted artificial stuff, which was not permanent. I'll give you one more story which explains this example, why we are here. So there was this rich man, and he had a son, and he was extremely rich. He had given all the comforts to his son, everything. Jo chahiye, sab milega. So his son was there. Um, and one day the son decided, that I want to just be independent. And and he told his father, please give me my share, let me go and enjoy on my own. I want to do things on my own. So father says, hello, everything is there for you. Matlab, why do you want to go and do things separately? He says, no, 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 I want to go. No more discussion. Just give me my share and let me go. So this uh, father, very reluctantly, with a hard heart, he's given him his share of money, and he goes. And so he had other sons also. They didn't go. Only this one son went away. And so the son goes, and he goes very far away. And he says, I'm going to be independent. So he goes to this faraway place, and he sets up his own thing. And obviously, he has a lot of money. He's rich. So he attracts a lot of false friends. Yeah. And then these false friends, they want to enjoy his money. So they tell him, Array, you're so this, you're so that. They pamper his ego, and they are always around him, and they make him spend his money, and they'll end up enjoying. And then they tell him, Array, you should try intoxication. Array, it gives you such a high. You should try gambling. You should try meat eating. And he gets into all the bad habits and all the wrong company. And then what happens? Sooner or later, everything comes to an end, right? So his money gets over. Ab paisa khatam. Now, as soon as money is over, all these people who are around him suddenly vanish. And he's all alone. Paisa khatam. What to do now? And then he's like, shit, abhi main kya karu? I can't go back to my father also. And I only wanted to be independent. And then he's, walking around, and suddenly he sees this farm. It's basically a pig farm. So he goes to that farmer and he says, I need a job. And so he looks at him and he says, Acha, but okay, I have like over 300 pigs. You can take care of them. But you know what? I'm not going to give you any money. At best, you can stay where they are staying, and you can eat the food that they are eating. That much I can do for you. Now, this guy has no money, no food, no shelter. He says, okay, I'll stay in that same shelter, the where the pigs are staying, and whatever flour they eat, I'll also eat that. So like that, some time passes. And this farmer had a neighbor. So this neighbor was observing this guy, and he looked nice. He looked to be from a good family. So one day he just asked him, what is the problem? So he says, you know what? I made this big mistake of wanting to be independent, and I landed up doing the wrong thing. Now, how can I go back to my father? So this neighbor explains to him that, you know what? You've made a mistake. Just go back, apologize. Your father will definitely accept you. And he's saying, really? I've done something wrong. I hurt him. I took my share, and I acted so selfish. He says, don't worry. Just go, just go hug him. I'm sure as a father, he'll forgive you. And so he builds up the courage. All this time, he didn't have the courage. So he goes to his village. And when he's entering his village, all the people surround him, and they're all happy. And then so many of them start, blowing trumpets, because he's very rich. He's like the head of the village. His father, he's very rich. And some of them go running to his father and tell him, your son is back, your son is back. And this father is in tears, and he runs from his mansion, and he goes to his son, and who's in shambles. He torn clothes, halat kharab hai uska. And then he hugs him, and he tells him, and he announces in the village, from today, my son is going to take my position, and he's going to be the key head in this village. And the son is in tears. He's saying, Father, I did so much wrong, but you're still accepting me. And the father says, you know what? I was just waiting for you to come back. Now, the two stories that I've told you, one brings out the point that real happiness you cannot find in artificial things, like that child who was trying to make artificial food with those appliances, but they are artificial. So, and second story brings out the point that we wanted to be independent, so we came here. And till the time we meet a guru, which was the neighbor's friend who guided him how to get back home, we will not be able to be connected to our father. And be rest assured, when we go back home, The Lord is going to be, he's actually waiting more than we. We are eager to go back, but he's even more eager to have all his children back, because he never wanted us to go. We were the ones who wanted to be independent. And that's the reason he had to create this place for us, which is a place of misery, right? So now that we are in this place of misery, let's understand a little more. So this is the way how we get back. But we have to understand about this jail, right? ये जो jail बना है, we know now Durga Devi is the jailer. Yes, we are in this temporary place, Dukkhale Ashashvatam, the material world. We are here. Now we are here as prisoners. We have to be free. Okay, but when we get into a jail, what is the first thing that is done? Now, suppose today I do some crime and I'm going to be sent to a jail. What is the first thing that will happen? I will be asked to change my clothes. From a normal clothes, I'm asked to wear the clothes of a prisoner. So these are the clothes that we wear in the material world, right? This is a prison house, and these are the clothes that we wear. The 84 lakh species that we were discussing, the 84 lakh vehicles are there. And this is the breakup of the 84 lakh species. Now, there are 9 lakh species in the aquatics. Okay. There are 20 lakh species of trees. Someone was asking me a couple of days ago, do trees have a soul? Yes, there are 20 lakh species of trees. There are 11 lakh species or types of consciousness in reptiles. Now, when I'm saying species, it basically means those many consciousnesses are there. All right. 9 lakh aquatic, 20 lakh trees, 11 lakh reptiles, all your lizards, crocodile, anaconda, dog, all of those. Then there are so many kinds, 10 lakh kind of birds, or 10 lakh consciousness of birds. And there are 30 lakh in animals. And in humans, there are 4 lakh. If you total them up, it's 84 lakh species of consciousness that we have in this Prakriti. Now, you may wonder, humans, 4 lakhs? What do you mean by that? So basically, it's consciousness, as I told you. So to give you an example, remember we discussed the example of, okay, first, before that. So there's someone in Africa. He's in the tribals, all right? There's someone in the Sahara Desert, right? So that's a different consciousness. There are cannibals, there are nomads, there are people in, deserts and in the polar region who are absolutely disconnected from the rest of the world. So they are one type of consciousness. And then within us also, there are so many different levels of consciousness that we have. Like the robber holding the knife, as I told you, that's one consciousness vis-a-vis a doctor. So these are the 84 lakh species that we can get. And you'll understand a little more about this 4 lakh consciousness of humans when we talk about karma. Okay, it's going to come. Now, over here, like we have the jailer. Now, you all may ask, that we are in jail, but there are no, where are the rods? Where's the prison? Where is that prison, right? Where's the lock? Now, the prison, because this world is a prison, we have invisible ropes that bind us. And the ropes that bind us are these 3 gunas, Sattva gun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. As you see in the picture down, these are the invisible ropes that bind every human being. Like it or not, we are always bound by these, and we act at different times with different gunas. Now, we've done this example earlier that one child, once she's fighting with her mother and screaming, that's one. That time she's controlled by one particular mode. And at the other time, she's hugging her mother and, loving her. That's another mode that she's in. All right. So we are in this jail. Durga Devi is the jailer. We have 84 lakh species or 84 lakh clothes that we can wear. As soon as we come into this material world, as soon as we get into this prison, we have to change our clothes. And the clothes are the different forms that we can take, either reptiles, aquatics, so on and so forth. But you may not see the prison, the prison bars, but we are controlled by the prison bars, which are these 3 modes of material nature. So in this world, our position is like this. If you see this picture in front of you, right? Let me try and explain this picture to you. So where you see the cursor up, there's a beehive. And from this beehive, there's a little honey dropping. And there's this man who is hanging on a branch of a tree. Now that branch of a tree is also, the branch of a tree is being bitten by this two mice that are there, white and black. And this elephant is there who's trying to pull the whole tree down. And then down, what do we see? Down there's a well. And there are these snakes that are there over here. And what is happening is that there is Lord and the hand of the Lord. But instead of giving his hand to the Lord, what this man is trying to do? He's trying to enjoy the honey. So why I'm showing you this picture? Because our position is something similar. All right. We're over here. And there are these insects which are biting also this human being. So we're something like this. We're hanging over here. The Lord is ready to offer us the hand, but we are not taking it. We're trying to lick the honey, which is temporary. Why? Because this black and white mouse that you see is something like day and night. So with every passing day, we're getting closer to death. And where is death? Down here. Because sooner or later, this branch will fall, or this tree will be up, will fall, and we'll go down. And this is death in the form of these snakes. And these insects that you see that are biting us are all these material problems, diseases and illness and all that keeps coming to us. But instead of giving the hand to the Lord and going back, we're trying to enjoy this honey. We will enjoy, but limited, because sooner or later, the day and night will, or whatever time that we have in the material world, will get over, and we will fall down to these snakes, which is death. So it makes sense if before that we give our hand to the Lord so that we can go back home. Okay. Now, 1 minute. I've given so much to you about the three aspects. First one, soul, enjoyer, and then I spoke about Prakriti. Now, I hope Prakriti is clear, so that then I'll go to the fourth aspect, which is knowledge. Okay, it's a very important chapter, and there's a lot in this chapter. And we've just gone halfway still. Okay, so before I go into that, quickly, if you have any key doubts about Prakriti, only then you raise your hand. Everyone put your hand down. If you have any key doubts, then only raise your hand, or put it in the chat, better still, if you have any questions regarding Prakriti, what I've just spoken, only that. Any doubts? Because there was quite a bit. I hope you all digested.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, who's this?
Sriram.
Sriram, tell me, what's your doubt, dear?
Prabhuji, are the insects compared to the threefold miseries like?
Yeah, insects are like the miseries. So basically, any kind of misery that we experience, it could be a volcanic eruption, it could be, the corona that we're experiencing now, it could be just normal illness which comes to us. Something or the other keeps biting, it keeps troubling us. So we can't enjoy the honey. Like, so if you're enjoying life today, right, you want to go on a holiday, suddenly you fall ill. That means you can't enjoy that holiday. It's compared to that. Okay? Yeah. Any other question? 1 minute. I'm trying to see the chat box. If not that, you raise your hand and I'll try, because it's very important that you understand, then only then I move ahead. Mishika has a question. Mishika, yeah. Let's unmute Mishika.
I did not understand what is consciousness.
Okay, consciousness. So consciousness is the ability to be or to understand. All right. So I try to explain consciousness. Now, I'm not going by the book definition. So what I'm trying to explain is that it's the ability to understand and comprehend things which are around you. And like I gave you the example of the knife, in the hand. So it's the same instrument in the hand of two different people, but their thinking is different. So one uses it for a wrong activity, the thief, and the doctor uses it for the right activity. So we have to use our ability in Krishna consciousness. That means we have to be in that state of mind. Okay, if we're in that state of mind, we will be able to do the right things. That's why we say International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Okay, I hope it's a little clearer now. Right. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hari bol. Yeah, what's your question? Sorry, who was that? Mataji, we can take 3-4 questions now so that they are clear, you know.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, please tell me.
Prabhuji, my name is Vaidehi.
Yeah,
I have a
Vaidehi.
doubt that when we like give birth and die, but
Yeah.
in our whole entire life, like every time we do, every life when we get like we die and die and die, we get died and then go birth. Every time we do bad things, then will it even stop if we do bad things continuously?
So basically, you know, if you do bad things, you're born in the lower species. There are 84 lakh species, right? Now, 84 lakh species
Not
are
only
there.
that, Prabhuji. Mean we do whole entire bad things in the life, and if we do it continuously in each life we get every time, then why will it? When will it even stop if we like continuously do it in
So
each
we,
of
yeah,
every
we
life?
all like Arjun, like Krishna told Arjun that you've had millions of births earlier. You don't remember them, but I remember. Similarly, all of us have had millions of births, but somewhere we have evolved. Those 4 lakh consciousness of humans you saw. So we have evolved from those 4 lakh consciousnesses also. So we may have been first born, you know, in a place where we did certain amount of karma. When our karma became better, then we got a better body. So basically, it's moving up the ladder. And this human form per se is the highest form you can get, because over here, your consciousness or the thinking is highest. Like as an animal, can you think, like, can a tiger say, today I'm going to eat grass, I'm not going to eat flesh? Can he say that? No, because he's conditioned to eat only that. But we humans can decide, no, today I'm not going to eat another living entity. I'm going to be vegetarian. I'm going to eat only what I'm supposed to. So that means what? We have that consciousness. And humans per se have the highest consciousness. And therefore, from this place, remember I told you this junction, we are like at a train station, it's going to come. So I'm going to be discussing karmas and this point, what we can do after we've got a human life. So this is like a most important junction. Once having this, if we do the wrong karmas, we're going to go down, 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 down. But if we do the right things and we give a hand to the Lord, we will go back to. Okay. So I'm going to discuss a little more about knowledge. Some of these points will be covered. Okay. Now, what is true knowledge? True knowledge is basically understanding 3 things. Just remember, what is true knowledge? Understanding 3 things: matter, which is all around us, everything is matter, including this body; spirit, what we actually are and other living beings around us are; and controller of both. If you understand these 3 things, matter, spirit, and controller of both, that is true knowledge. That is the real knowledge. Everything else is information. Okay. The speed of the rotation of the earth, how many days, all of that is information which is available. But this is true knowledge. Knowing matter, spirit, and controller of both. That is what is true knowledge. Okay. Now, the other aspect to understanding a little more is Atma and Paramatma. Remember, we said there are 3 stages of realization: the Brahman realization, the Paramatma realization, and the devotional service or realization of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we've done, yesterday we were understanding about why Brahman is not good. We cannot meditate. Hot, too cold. We did that example. I showed you those slides. We've all spoken about the devotional aspect of it. Today, I'm also going to touch upon the Paramatma aspect. Now, what is Paramatma? To explain this a little better, I'm going to give you an example of 2 birds on a tree. Okay. So there are these 2 birds on a tree, and both of them are together. And this one bird is busy eating all the fruits, going from one branch to the other, trying to enjoy fruits, कभी खट्टा मिलता है, कभी मीठा मिलता है, कभी गंदा fruit मिलता है, कभी sometimes it has difficulty in getting the fruit. And this other bird is just watching. It's watching and it's telling that bird, "Arey, relax. If you want to know where the real fruit, the sweetest fruits are, I'll take you there." But this other bird is so engrossed in running from one branch to the other, tasting one fruit to the other, it's not listening only to the other bird. So that is the difference between us and the Paramatma which is inside us. So we all are like this bird who's jumping from one branch to the other, tasting bitter fruit, sweet fruit, not so good fruit, sadela, gadela, all kinds of fruits we're tasting. That is we are trying to enjoy the material world, which is not always going to give us sweetness. But the Paramatma within our heart keeps telling us, Arey, don't do this. I'll take you, where the real happiness lies. But we don't listen to that Paramatma. And that is the reason we land up in the real problems of life. Now, you know what? Sometimes we say we have a lot of problems. So if I were to ask you, what are your problems? Most people will tell me, what is problem? Arey, today I didn't get my favorite food. Oh, exams are coming. That is a problem. Another person will say, my neighbor got a new phone, but I don't have that new phone. That is a problem. So generally, all of us say, what the problems that we talk about are not real problems. What are the real problems of life? Is birth, old age, disease, and death. And why I say they are the real problems? There's a reason. It's because no one wants them, but no one can escape them. Now, is there anyone who can escape old age, disease, death? No, right? Birth we've all experienced. So the real problems are the ones that no one wants, are common to all, right? That is what makes it a real problem. It's common. Everyone is going to get old. Everyone is going to get disease sometime or the other, or get some problem, and everyone is going to die. But no one wants it, but we land up getting it. So these are the real problems. Food, water, shelter, clothing, that's the basic need. Usme thoda kam zyada hoga, that's not the real problem. The real problems are birth, old age, disease, and death. And of course, the temporary problems are someday we get less food, we may not have this shelter, that shelter, clothing. These are the temporary problems. Now, for example, why do we call, some people may say, why is old age a problem? Old age is a problem because at that time you have all your bodily parts give way. Means you see less, you hear less, your body pains, all of that is the problem. Now, for example, this lady, it's the same lady, will you believe it? The one on the left is this famous actress in the 60s, 70s. She is the mother of Kajol. You all may have heard of the actress Kajol. She's her mother. Tanuja is her name. Now imagine what she looked earlier and what she looks now. So it's inevitable, moving from the left, what you see, to right. Everyone is going to come here. So when she was young, she may never have thought of it, but it's inevitable. It's going to come. So once, Prabhupada asked a magician, he was removing all the things from his magic hat. And he says, can you actually create a person rather than showing me rabbit and birds and all? So Prabhupada actually asked him, or can you, by magic, put an end to the real problems? And he had no answer, because the real problems are the ones that are common to all and no one wants it, right? So Prakriti, what we were discussing, is discussed here in the 13th chapter, verse 21, where it is said, nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of various suffering and enjoyment in the world. So living entity is the sufferer or the enjoyer, and nature, the Prakriti, is the creator of cause and effects. So what are the real problems? The real problems are ones which no one wants, no one can avoid, because it comes on their own. So therefore, even happiness will come on its own whenever it has to come. But the big question that everyone must be thinking, right? That why am I suffering? Why am I suffering? Okay, why am I? Now that is because of karma. Now we're going to discuss this very important point. You have heard many times karma, karma, karma. But what is this karma? Right? Let's get into understanding what karma is. Now, who's going to read this definition out for me? Mataji, please give someone a chance who hasn't had earlier to read, please. Can someone read that out, please? Mataji, who are you giving a chance? Who are you giving a chance to read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Activities performed by the soul in the material body
Conditioned,
considered considered
conditioned by the
considered by the mode of material nature under the control and
purview.
purview of time.
Yes. So this is the definition of karma. Thank you very much. Activities which are performed by the soul. Now we are the soul in the material body. We are conditioned by the three modes of material nature. Yes. And we are under the control and purview of time. We all have limited time. That is what karma means. Right. And we've already done this cycle of the universe, that eternally there is this clock which is clicking, which never comes back. Satya Yug, Dwapar Yug, Treta Yug, Kali Yug. Now, I was telling you, I'll tell you about the cycle of the universe and the yugas. Now, Kali Yug is the shortest yug, 4,32,000 years. Dwapar is double of Kali Yug. Treta is double of Dwapar. Satyug is double of Treta Yug. And when these four yugas are combined, it is called one Chatur Yuga. When these four, the cycle, when the cycle is done, it is called one Chatur Yuga. And the cycle of the universe is, you know how much? 7 crore 20 lakh Chatur Yuga. So it is mind boggling, and don't even try to remember these figures. It's okay. But the cycle of the universe is like this. Kal Yuga, Dwapar, Treta, Satyuga, but that makes only one Chatur Yuga. And the cycle of a universe, that is from, you can say, up to annihilation. Annihilation means complete annihilation, is this 7 crore 20 lakh Chatur Yuga. So, but the time, what I'm trying to say is that the clock keeps ticking. All right. Now, karma, as we were discussing. To understand karma, I'm going to show you all some examples, and you'll understand what karma means. It's self-explanatory. Now, within the 4 lakh species that we discussed of humans, let's try and understand about each one. These are the 84 lakh species. Let's try and understand why is the world so unique. So some children are born like this, right? Very healthy. You've seen that. But some are also born like this, without hands, handicapped. Why? Some people are born very handsome, nice, good looking. But some people are born ugly. Why? Why? Some children have all the comforts, all the toys, all the luxuries, but some don't even have food to eat. They are malnourished. Why? Why? Right? We live in this world where we see that innocent children are suffering for no reason. Is it so? Is it really no reason? No, everything has a reason. That is what karma is. God is not cruel. Sometimes we feel that, is God so cruel? Yeah, that is the limited concept of God. When we think that God is cruel, he's done all of this. No, not at all. And when bad things happen to good people, we should understand it is not because of God, it is because of your karma. Now, you may have also heard this word destiny. Now, it may look a little complex, okay, kids, but I'm going to try to explain what destiny is also to you. Now, karma, you have understood, is basically the actions that you do under the three modes of material nature, which is what decides your next body. Now, there are so many. Now, when we were speaking about the 4 lakh consciousness of human beings, I had told you, I'll explain that to you. Now, based on your karma, now you are born as a human being, fine. Because you did certain activities, you were born as a human being. But even in that, some people are born handsome, some ugly, because of your karmas. Some people are born rich, some are born poor because of your karmas. Some people are born in a good country, where there is everything available, but some are born in an African country or some place where, like Israel, where there's so much of disturbance all around. That is all because of karma. Now let's try and understand destiny. Okay, there's an action, there's a response, and there's a reaction. And what we actually have in our hand, which decides our next destination, is our free will. The only thing that we as human beings have in hand is the choices that we make. All right. But when we make choices also, we are under three modes of material nature. Sattva, Raja, Tamo, right? That decides what choices we make. For example, if I'm in Sattva Gun, if I'm in a good state, I will not steal, I will not hit someone, right? But if I'm in Rajo and I want something more, I may land up stealing because I want more. So how I use my free will, and if I'm in Tamogun, then I will hit someone and take it from someone, right? So basically these three modes are deciding my action, and based on the use that I do of my free will, my response is done, and then this destiny that you see is decided based on my action. Now the action is decided by the three modes of material nature, and because of which my destiny or my next life is decided, or the reaction which will come to me is based on that free will. I hope you all have understood. I'm going to go through this again a little, so that you understand. I have free will. That's the only thing under my control, right? But that free will is based on the three modes of material nature. In the next chapter, we will decide, or the coming chapters, we will know how we should always be in Sattva Gun, not be in Tamo, not be in Rajo. That is a separate aspect. But the three modes are governing me. That much you understand. Based on that, I decide my free will, and I take an action which will give me response. And the continuous action that I take decides my destiny. Okay. Now, is there a way to escape the reactions of karma? Is there a way? Now that's the question. If I do something bad, can I escape it? Is it possible? So for example, I get into a first class compartment of a train and I'm caught. And I tell that guy, "Arey yaar, ye first class tha, TT ko bolta hu main. It's a first class. I didn't know only." He'll say, "Boss, ignorance of law is no way to escape the reaction." Similarly, if we are unaware of the laws of nature, or we are unaware of what is right action, what is wrong action, then that's our problem. We have to find out. Ignorance of law, it will not get pass over there. We have to know what is allowed, what is not allowed. Ignorance of law is not accepted. So up there, an entire karmic account is being kept. Debit, credit. Now you all will learn when you grow. Good, bad. Let's put it that way. Everything is kept and everything is recorded. But when we do something good, it's like, what do you see over there? You see this thing, big thing? This is like a big granary, where grain is stored traditionally in villages in Europe and all, or traditional granaries. This is where grains were stored. So if you do something good, if you get a good crop, you would put the good crop, then the next crop, which may not be so good, and then the next crop, which will be maybe average. So basically what you're doing, you're putting different layers of crop. Similarly, we are doing different actions: good action, bad action, good action, bad action, not so good action, not so bad action. So an entire account is being kept. That is called the karmic account. And then what we really need to know is that this human form is a junction. And at this junction, we need to decide to live responsibly. If we use it responsibly and make the right action, then we will be able to get out of this place. Let me explain once again, okay? What we have to do, now that we have a human form of life, we have to first and foremost realize that this human form is like a train junction. Over here, we can either go upward or downward, all right? And therefore, we have to live responsibly, right? Only then can we get out of this material chakkar. Now, I'll give you an example of this material chakkar, what this material cycle is, as we call it. So I'm going to tell you a story which hopefully will bring out this difference or this entire material cycle to you. So there was once this brahmachari, all right? And he was sitting and he was doing his sadhana. And while he was doing his sadhana, a rat would keep coming and, taking his prasad, irritating him. and whatever shastras were kept eating that. So he was disturbed by the rat. So he said, "Abhi kya kare? Rat hai." So he said, "Okay, I'll get a cat which will eat the rat." So he got a cat. So then the cat was there, but it would run around and manage the rats which would keep coming. But the cat needed food. उसको भी तो खाने को देना है. तो रोज दूध लाओ, रोज जाके दूध लाओ. So his time was getting disturbed. So he said, "अरे यार, रोज दूध लाने से अच्छा है, I'll get a cow also." So he said, "I'll get a cow to manage the cat, so that the rat will be eaten by the cat, but the cat needs continuous supply of milk, so I'll get a cow." So there were many rats, they were eaten by the cat, but the cat had to be maintained, so he got a cow. But then he realized that someone has to maintain the cow also, na? कौन उसका दूध निकालेगा, कौन उसको maintain करेगा? So then he said, "Chal, I'll get married." So from a brahmachari, he got married and he got a wife. He thought that the wife will take care of that. So the cow. Now the wife was taking care of the cow, and the cow was giving the milk to the cat, and the cat was eating the rat. But then the wife also started saying, "Arey, I need a child. I want, I also need some company." So then he landed up having children. And then he grew old and he started having grandchildren. So basically, he had one big family. So what I'm trying to explain over here is that to get rid of that one rat, it got a cat, then a cow, then a wife, and then a family. Instead, if he had simply got a trap for the rat, he would have been successful. So what I'm trying to explain through this story is that all of us, instead of trying to look for a simple solution to life, we'll end up looking for complex solutions. So Krishna has already given us a simple solution. Solution for all problems in this yuga is chanting the holy names. If we manage to do that, we will be able to get out of this cycle of birth, death, old age, and go back to Goloka. But we look for temporary solutions. Okay, let's run to an astrologer. Let's run to some tarot reader. Let's run to some pandit who will do some puja for me and get me better marks in my exam. No, those are temporary problems. Exam marks are temporary problems, but birth, old age, disease, and death are permanent problems. We have to get out of these permanent problems. Okay. So today we understood what Prakriti is, this world, material world, which is 1/4. Okay, I'll have someone else do a summary. Today we're a little short of time because it was a very long chapter. So, okay, I'm going to ask you all 2-3 questions. Let's see who wants to answer. Prakriti, who will want to explain to me what is Prakriti? And then who will want to explain to me what is real knowledge? Come on, kids. Who's going to do that? And then this is the real solution. That much is clear, right? The solution is not a problem. You all know now that the only way in Kali Yuga is chanting the holy name of the Lord. Okay, now let's get to who's going to tell me today's summary. What is Prakriti? Who's going to answer that? Mataji, you can give someone who hasn't had a chance to answer. Camera on, mic on.
Bhargavi, I have unmuted her.
Bhargavi, what is Prakriti? What did you understand from Prakriti?
Prabhuji, Prakriti I understood little only, but the true knowledge I understood.
Okay, you understood true knowledge. Okay, who understood Prakriti? Who's going to tell me what Prakriti is? Because I'll try and summarize it again, once again. It was a long chapter. I know it's too much to digest sometimes, but I will repeat. Mataji, next.
Shubhadra.
Yes, Shubhadra, what is Prakriti? Only the ones who know what's Prakriti, raise your hands, please.
Prabhuji, I joined late. I don't know.
Okay, Mataji, so don't put your hand up. Only the ones who know and joined in time, tell me. I see Pratyaksh's hand up.
Yes, I've unmuted him.
Pratyaksh, what did you understand as Prakriti?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
I understood that Prakriti is a prison
Yes, very good.
and the jailer is Durga Ma
Okay.
and
The bars of the jail are the three modes of nature,
Beautiful. Very nice.
and destiny is what we do and where will we get.
Yes, destiny is the reaction that we get after doing our karmas. Right? So you beautifully said it. Very good. Very well said. Anyone else? One more person will give a chance. Very well said.
Keshto,
Keshto? Go ahead, dear. He's on mute.
I have unmuted him.
Yes, Keshto.
Prakriti is material nature.
Yes, Prakriti is material nature. What are the aspects of it? Anything more you would want to say?
No.
Okay. Now, my next question. Why did we come from the spiritual world, which is 3/4? Why did we come into the material world? Who would want to answer that? Can raise their hands. Others, please put your hands down. So this is a revision that I'm doing in question and answer form. Okay. Why did we come from the spiritual world into the material world? I gave her 2 stories for that. Mataji.
Kanishka,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
We came in this material world from the spiritual world to enjoy like God. We all the souls thought that why only God will enjoy. We also want to enjoy. So
Beautiful.
we said to the God, "Ki God, please give us another world. We want to enjoy ourselves."
Independently.
So we came in this world.
Beautiful. Very well said. So the propensity to enjoy independently of God, wanting to be independent like that son and the father, that example we gave, that is why we came and the Lord created this material world. And as said earlier, this material world has 3 invisible ropes which bind us, which are the 3 modes of material nature. And this place is a jail, Dukkhale. And the Lord himself tells us that this place is Dukkhale and it's temporary, right? You will not find permanent happiness over here. And then I gave the example of how all of us are like that man who's hanging on that tree where there is a snake down, there's 2 rats which are biting off that branch where I'm handling, but still he doesn't hand over his hand to the Lord who's giving him. He still wants to enjoy that temporary honey which is falling. Sooner or later, he's going to fall down into that death trap, but he doesn't realize that. So that is our situation, but we can get out of it with real knowledge. And what is knowledge that I explained over here? The real knowledge, I said 3 things if you understand is knowledge.
Sri Rang,
Yes, Srirang. The 3 key things to understand in knowledge.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Boliye.
Prabhuji, can you repeat the question?
What is real knowledge? I said 3 things if you know, you have real knowledge. What is that?
Prabhuji, the real knowledge is spiritual knowledge and understanding that I am the soul and not the body.
Okay, perfect. That's fine. But, there's a particular way I said it. So, real knowledge is understanding matter, spirit, and controller of both. Matter, spirit, and controller of both. So, if we understand that, what is matter, what is spirit, that is us, and who controls the Lord, if we understand that, everything comes within that. Okay, so that is real knowledge. And if we have to break these shackles and we have to get out of this material world, then the only way is there's a complex way and there's a simple way. So the simplest way is the chanting of the Maha Mantra, which is already given to us, and that is what will take us back home. Okay, so that in effect is the summary and understanding of today's chapter, which was what Arjuna asked. He asked so many questions in which he wanted to know who are we, which was explained. What is real knowledge? This is real knowledge. And what is Prakriti is explained about this material nature. All right. So we've come from the spiritual world into this material world, which is temporary, but there is a way to get back. And we don't have to be like that man who's hanging and trying to taste the honey. No, that's temporary. We need to go back Because over here, we will not find permanent happiness because of the 4 problems which are not desirable to anyone, but everyone has it: birth, old age, disease, and death. No one wants it, right? But we have it. Besides those insects which keep biting us, like some natural calamity or some disease or some illness that keeps coming to us. All right. So thank you very much, kids, for being there. And today was a long session. And if you all have made some notes, try revising it so that it stays better. Because if this aspect stays in your head, it will be very important because it's very important. That's why it needs to be there. And the 3 modes of material nature that we discussed, we are going to be discussing it in detail in the coming chapters. Because it is, why is it important to understand the 3 modes? Because all our actions are taken under these 3 modes, and our destiny is decided based on our action. And the Lord doesn't interfere. He's given us a free will. Do what you want, right? You want to eat non-veg, eat. You want to eat veg, eat. You want to get up at 6 in the morning, you want to get up at 12 in the night, up to you. It's up to you. So we have that free will. We have to use it carefully. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. More importantly, tomorrow, because we missed a session on Monday, tomorrow we are having an extra class. Okay. So same time, 5 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to meet for the extra class because we missed Monday. Monday we couldn't have class for some reason. So we meet tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
But we will share another link. Just tell them that.
Yes, the link, username, password, everything will come to you in your WhatsApp chat. Right? Thank you so very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna, kids.
Hari Bol, Prabhuji.
Hari Bol. I missed the chat. I'll just read the chat in the meantime. Hare Krishna, kids. Thank you.